What do I actually mean by the winter arc? I've literally heard this phrase all over my TikTok and Instagram reels For You page, and according to Google it says a time where every man must face the mental and physical challenges of winter. To summarize, it's basically the time of the year where we lock in. Now typically the winter arc starts 90 days before the start of January, so that you're 90 days ahead of the game before everyone starts setting their New Year's resolution. But it's currently mid-October. If you're watching this now or later and you are wanting to better yourself this winter, then this is your sign to get your stuff together. In this video I'm just going to be giving you guys a list of physical and mental habits and things that I've been doing and will be doing to become the best version of myself. Okay, before I even get into the premise of this video, what I think is so important is to romanticize the idea of winter. Like, I am not a winter girly either. I hear some people say that they love winter, it really motivates them, it gives them an opportunity to get their stuff together. For me it's the opposite. Seeing the clouds and it get dark at 4 p.m. demotivates me to the max. Like, I do not naturally like winter, but this winter and also last winter I've been trying to romanticize the hell out of winter. I've been making Pinterest board after Pinterest board, scrolling through winter romanticization TikToks and trying to make winter as aesthetic as possible so that I will enjoy it as much as possible rather than just being negative about the cold weather. So that is number one. If you haven't already, make a Pinterest board. You can follow me on Pinterest. I'll put it on screen and I always leave it in the description below. Okay, starting off with the physical things that you can implement into your winter art era. Number one is keeping a consistent skincare routine if you don't already do this. Last winter I hugely struggled with acne and it has been down like a journey getting through it, and I finally feel more confident in my skin. This video isn't sponsored, but I have been using Skin and Me, who have sponsored me before, and that really helped clear up my acne. And also I was sent a like red light face mask from Current Body Skin, I think, which I've just started using, so I'm gonna start using that 3 to 5 times a week and I'll let you know how it goes. Number two is your hair care routine. Especially now it's colder, the air is drier, your hair is prone to becoming dry and crackly. Get using those hydrating deep conditioning treatments, start using oils, keep your hair healthy and shiny. Go for regular trims, even if it's just a little trim to get rid of the split ends. Don't leave your split ends for too long. And also finally, I've been using silk pillowcases for my skin and my hair for now like 2 years. If you haven't got them, put them down on your Christmas list. They're actually not even that expensive. I think you can get a pack of 2 for like less than £10. Number three, which is obviously the obvious, but now it is winter, you have less social plans. Use that time to get active, start exercising and actually keep to that routine that you told yourself you were going to. I can't lie, I completely get not wanting to do like a run outside mid-winter when it's this cold, but just movement in general in winter I think is so important, and all year round really. Don't let the cold weather put you off exercising. Just go do something that feels right to you, even if that's like a stretch class. And if you find yourself really unmotivated, hold yourself accountable by going with a friend or actually booking a class and paying for it, so if you don't turn up you are losing money. Number four is nourishing your body. Again, the whole premise of the winter arc is in winter you have less social plans. I feel like you're not out all the time, so don't keep eating fast food and things that aren't nourishing for your body all the time. Obviously there's always this balance, you know, you've probably heard of 80-20 before. Basically 80% healthy, 20% indulging in your cravings, etc. I don't really follow a specific rule. If I'm really fancying something unhealthy, I just go and eat it, but the majority of the time I will try to nourish my body with like healthy foods, things that aren't super processed. And also in winter it's the perfect time for like cooking and baking, so you know, hone down your cooking skills, start doing more homemade dinners and less like takeaway, as well as just drinking more water. I feel like when it gets colder and less hot, it's so easy to just forget to drink water if you don't get thirsty. I have this 1 litre water bottle which I try to fill up 2 to 3 times a day minimum. Does that make me go to the toilet all the time? Yes, but you want to keep yourself hydrated. As well as this, winter is the perfect time for all those herbal teas, peppermint teas, green teas, detox teas. You know, cuddle up in the evening with a nice little herbal tea. And in terms of nourishing your body, supplements, so I take a multivitamin, turmeric for like anti-inflammatory for my skin and my stomach because I suffer with IBS. I take like pro and prebiotics and also omega-3s for skin health. Okay, number 5. Now it is winter, you have a big opportunity I feel like to upgrade your style, just because in summer it's so hot. Sometimes I feel like it's so hard to dress well, you know. In winter you have the opportunity to do that layering, do that accessorizing, you know. Whilst you're on Pinterest romanticizing winter, romanticize your clothing style as well. You can add accessories like hats, gloves, statement jewelry all to your winter outfits. Personally, I am a huge sucker for big oversized chunky scarves and also thin little scarves as well. I think they're both so cute and good accessories, as well as like big chunky winter boots. Like, so many different ways you can upgrade your style in winter. Okay, teeth care is a major one for me. If you don't brush your teeth like twice a day, girl, get on that. I also like to use mouthwash after each time I brush my teeth, and I actually rarely use whitening strips, but if you fancy a little pamper, go and do a little whitening strip, at home whitening strip, or if you're feeling very fancy, I'm pretty sure you can get your teeth whitened at your local dentist. Okay, I've lost count what number I'm on, but nail care. Currently, I have not been doing my nails. All throughout last year, I would have Biab on, but I decided to give my nails a break after summer and after like 3 months of acrylic. I think they were dying for some air. So I've decided to not get my nails done, but I still haven't stopped taking care of them. I'll use a nail file like once a week, and I also use the little, like, I don't know what it's called, but you know the little sharp things behind a nail trimmer, and then you can like scrape out underneath your cuticles, which is kind of gross, but keeping up with that, as well as hand cream. Like, I put on hand cream every single night before I go to bed, so I wake up with my hands all soft, because my skin on my hands especially is so prone to going dry in winter. Okay, and the transition between sort of like physical and mental health, one that is sort of similar, both categories I guess, is sleep. Now personally, I find sleeping much easier in winter. I mean, I can sleep most of the year round, but especially in winter when it's dark and cold and cozy, I can just wrap up into bed and fall straight to sleep so quickly. And making sure you get enough sleep is so important. I usually aim on school nights just because I have to wake up so early, at least 7.5 hours, and then on weekends I will genuinely try to sleep as much as possible. I think at the moment I'm trying to find a balance between, like, do I wake up early and be productive gal, or do I sleep in? Especially during this transition to winter, I have been sleeping in. I've been waking up at 10 AM and getting those full 10-11 hours of sleep that I needed from the week, which for me I think is super important in winter. Okay, now for some tips for a little mental glow up during this winter art. Number one, now it's winter and you might have more time in your evening, it may be a really good time to learn a new hobby, learn a new language, start reading, implement a habit into your routine that you feel like you never had time for. For me, I've just been trying to read more, especially with like medical interviews coming up. I'm so worried they're gonna ask me about an interesting book I've read and I'm gonna have nothing. So I've been trying to read also just for general like stimulation of not just the mathsy part of my brain, but you know, like the reading, the English, the creative side. And I also find reading so relaxing. But yeah, or even learning a new skill, you know, as I said before, practicing your baking, doing some cooking, anything like that. Now you have time for it in winter. As well as this, I always talk about this, but breath work and meditation. According to an online article, meditation can help calm the mind, reduce anxiety, and bring awareness to the present moment. All things I feel like are very obvious benefits of meditation and breath work. My biggest winter arc mental sort of tip I'm going to give you, in my opinion, is journaling and like self-reflection. I think it's hard to grow as a person if you don't reflect on yourself, you know? I also think reflection is important to see how far you've come, to appreciate your effort, look back at your goals, see how far you've come, see what else you need to do. Reflection is so important, I think, in personal development. I find journaling is a really effective way to reflect and just take some time to actually, you know, think. I also think journaling, reflecting, positive affirmations, and keeping this positive mindset can be super beneficial in like maintaining this winter arc and not just getting a sudden burst of motivation, keeping it up for like 2 weeks and then dropping it. Like, the determination needs to be there, and I think journaling can be a really helpful way of doing that. Okay, the next one I wrote down are earlier wake ups, but as I've just said, recently I've actually been sleeping in because I find that that's like benefited me at the moment during this winter transition, and that I need those extra hours of sleep. But if you feel like you were sleeping until like 1-2 PM, you know, like I'm sure you could wake up at 10 and go to bed a little bit earlier. I'm not saying you have to wake up at crazy hours of the morning at 5 AM. That can be so unrealistic sometimes, especially if you're not a morning person, but don't waste your whole day, you know? As I've said earlier, consistency is key. You'll only start seeing long-term results when you are consistent. A few tips I have for you for just staying consistent, whether this is in personal development, exercise, education, etc. Number one is setting goals that aren't super unrealistic, you know? Make it realistic, i.e. if you've never exercised before and you want to start getting into a routine, don't tell yourself you're going to exercise for 2 hours 7 days a week, you know? Slowly introduce it and build it up. Otherwise, setting unrealistic goals that you don't achieve will only demotivate you further. I also think it's really important to give yourself a strong reason why you're doing this, so that when you feel unmotivated and that you don't want to do it, you're like, okay, why? Like, what is your reason why? Keep a clear insight of how you want your future to look like. That Pinterest board, you know, can easily come into play for visual stimulus, because sometimes it is hard to tell yourself to do something when you're really not feeling it. Build a routine. So if you're going to start working out, this is just an easy example, but don't start doing it Monday at 5 a.m, Thursday at 7 p.m, and a Saturday at 2 p.m, you know? I think when you start a habit, it's easier to build it into a routine that you're doing at the sort of same time every day, so that you're almost building this routine and your body gets used to it, and it's like, okay, now it's time to go to the gym. And finally, as I said, tracking your progress is so helpful in showing yourself how far you've come. And that is my advice for entering your winter arc this year. I know it is past October 1st. Most people say you need to start locking in 90 days before January 1st, but if you start making the efforts now, you can already have a few new habits under your belt and a routine that suits you, and by the time it's summer, you'll be the best version of yourself. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I love you all so much. Follow my other socials if you want to. I try to post on them as much as possible, and I will see you all next time.